So I want to tell you a story of a guy who wrote this hymn, which is a pretty well-known hymn, and the hymn's called "It Is Well." So the writer of this hymn is Horatio Spafford, and he has a pretty great story of why he wrote the hymn, but it's pretty sad, pretty traumatic, pretty tragic. The story is that it was set in the 1870s. So if you remember in history class, around this time, the Chicago fire happened. And when that happened, a lot of, buildings burnt down, businesses ended, and a lot of people had to start over. Well, Spafford's family was one of them. So he decided to move his family to Great Britain, and so that's what he did. So he told his wife, okay, you take the girls and you sail to Great Britain. I have to finish some business here. I'll meet you up there in a few days. And so that's what they did. His wife took his daughters, I believe 3 daughters, and they sailed to Great Britain, and he stayed in Chicago. Well, during this journey, his wife and his 3 daughters, their ship was attacked in the middle of the sea. 260 some people on the ship died. His daughters died and his wife survived. Once they made it to the island, or to the country they docked at, she sent a telegram to Spafford and told him that their daughters had died and she survived. If I got that telegram of my family, I would be devastated, I'd be angry, I'd be so sad. And so he was like, okay. And so he made his trip to Great Britain like he had promised, because his wife was already there. And he got on the ship, sailed to Great Britain. But as he was on the ship, crossing the waters that his family had crossed, as he was on that ship to Great Britain to meet up with his wife, he wrote the hymn, "It Is Well." You see, this hymn is well known all across the world, and it is a really great phrase too. It is well. You probably have it hung somewhere on your wall. Somebody probably has it tattooed on themselves. You've seen it most likely, and it's just a really great song. Well, fast forward in his life, once they settled in Great Britain, they ended up having a couple more kids. They had a daughter and a son, but later, a few years later, after having that son, their son died. So not only did they lose a lot of things in Chicago, set his family sail to Great Britain and lost his daughters, started a new family in Great Britain and lost his son. So many things were happening. Again, it was like a domino effect, thing after thing after thing just kept happening. I would be so mad. I would honestly not know what to do. But he had written this song because this tragedy had happened, and it was something that he just felt led that he needed to do. But I want to read you the first section. This hymn has a few sections to it, but just the first section of it. And it reads, "When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul." That last part, it is well with my soul. Though this song was written because great sadness was brought upon this family, the one thing that seemed to never have faded from Horatio was his faith, his trust in God. And let me remind you, Horatio is still human. He was probably angry. He was probably mad and frustrated. And there was sadness and everything, and you can see that through the song. But he still talks about the hope and the love that is in Jesus Christ. And I mean, when things like this happen, isn't it so easy for us to get angry at God and just walk away? I mean, I've done that. And for him to write a song that came from such great sadness like this and making it so popular, and so many different versions of this song have happened, I think that's pretty amazing. But how often do we have that kind of faith where we can just be like, okay, God, this happened, and yeah, it sucks, but we can get through it, and we could just say it is well. How often do we just like say that instead of just walking away? Because it's so easy for us to really just walk away from things that aren't comfortable or aren't what we planned. And when things don't go our way, it's just that easy to just go away from it. But it is well. How hard would it be for us to just say that and be okay with that? This song was really helpful in a time in my life that was really difficult. When I was a sophomore in high school, great tragedy happened in my life. A pretty traumatic experience happened where I was pretty angry. I was pretty mad at people around me. I was mad at myself. I was mad at God. And this song honestly got me through a lot of things. And people I loved got me through a lot of things as well. But whenever I just needed to get out of my head and just listen to something, because music is something that I really calmed down to, this song was something that was the song that I listened to all the time. And that was because I had lost my grandma, and the way it happened, the tragedy that happened, and the experience of it all just really sat heavy with me. But this song really helped me through that time. When I first heard it when I was younger, I thought it was so beautiful. I was like, wow. And just like hearing like the choir. I grew up in a church where there was like a choir of people, and just like hearing it, it was just really cool. And then as I got older in college, I had the opportunity to like really dive deep into this song in one of my worship classes. And I got to learn the backstory of the guy who wrote this, Horatio Spafford. And then I read the story and learned about it, and I was like, this is really sad. And then I was like, you know, when we listen to songs, when we listen to our pop songs, our R&B, when we listen to Christian songs, whatever type of music we're into, they all have a story like this behind it. Some type of loss, even if it's happy or sad. There's some type of loss, some type of incident that had happened in the writer's life for the reason why they wrote that song. And for Horatio, the reason why he wrote that was because he lost his family. He lost so much in just so little time. And when I think about that, I'm like, how true is that? That we can connect so much with worship music, or just any type of music in general. So I just want you to just think. I just want you to sit there and think about this. How often is it for you to just tell yourself, it is well? Meaning, it is okay. Yes, this stuff happens, but it is okay. It's okay to not be okay. It is well. I have to remind myself that, like right now, we're currently in something together, this pandemic, we're on this together. But at the end, it is well. It'll be okay. Some of us, or maybe all of us, we're going through something personal. And I know that I need to remind myself that it is well. I need to remind myself right now it is well. Things might not be going the way I typically want them to go, but I need to remind myself that it is well. And maybe you need to remind yourself that too. Guys, in your Trinity groups, I want you to listen to this hymn, but I also want you to listen to the Bethel music version of it because it is super cool. I love that version of it. I listen to that one all the time. So listen to that, talk about it, but fully listen to the lyrics of what is being said. It's so awesome. And share with the group what stood out to you. Guys, I miss you. Have such a great day. Have such a great Trinity group time. Bye.